So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about Necro and kind of like how to play him. Obviously, I am not at P5 right now. I am just learning this demon. I played him in the past. I mostly play Warlord. In the past, when the first three demons came out, I wanted to main Necro, but I felt like the Flatus was such a weak thing, such a weak ability, that Warlord did it better. Like you just can activate your ability and it'll buff the units around you, and they don't take balance bar damage, which Flatus doesn't do. So I felt like Necromancer was like the poor man's warlord. But I mean, who doesn't love an Army of Darkness? And because of that, I kind of want to get him to 5 because I really think he does have potential. Like back in the day when this demon first came out, you had the ability to raise an army because the units wouldn't run away after you placed a portal. And there was just some funny clips back in the day where like somebody would have an army on like the first point, so then you'd have to do the other point, but then it gives them more time to place the even more portals. And they would take cars and try to run through all the units, but the cars would break before even getting through all the units. It was a lot of fun. And then not to mention when you used Evil Ash and resurrect all those things, sometimes it would crash games. It was so funny, but I felt like, hey, that's how Necromancer is supposed to be. I wanted to use this gameplay because this team feels like the perfect counter to Necro. You could say Ruby would be better, but to be honest, Ruby doesn't benefit from Pablo, so Arthur is the better choice. And the reason I say Arthur is the better choice is because basically where Necro's strongest is book phase, right? You're second to Puppeteer on book phase. So you're not going to be able to balance bar the boss on book, and all the units are going to be coming back. So what you have to do is try and burn boss as fast as possible while somebody is getting flautist, and then start working on the other units. So in this sense, I feel like Arthur is probably the best choice, so that you can boost out that damage, be able to use amulets from Pablo, so in case if Arthur hits you with his blade, you could still heal. Now, I've had some weird interactions. I don't know how true this is, but I've okay, so when you do a grab ability with Evil Ash, it doesn't put the debuff on the survivors where they can't heal. So that is unfortunate because sometimes I'll grab survivors. I just learned this recently, the other day when I was playing, and Ruby was able to hear the Shadow that I grabbed because of it, like mid grab animation. So you have to hit him with your attack to apply the debuff. Now, I'm not going to be leveling up traps here first because they do have an ed, and I am wary of what he's going to do here, if he's going to be the one going for Flatus. And basically, what you want to do, I'm trying to look for a good place to place Flatus. Like, I found out that it was Terminal Station. I came here, I was like, okay. Like I said, I don't play Necromancer. Like, this is my first time really playing him exclusively now. Like, I'm going to play him no matter what team I'm going up against. So I'm just like looking at the point over there, seeing how far away it is, and the most you can go is 60 yards, and that's the middle of the point. So you want to be like at least 55. I'm thinking of putting it here, but they are able to get through both sides, especially if it with an ed. So I want them to get as close as possible, so I put them in the middle there. Now, when they do spawn, they're going to spawn outside. I already know where the other point is, so I think to myself, like, there's no point in starting setting up there, because there's no place to place Flautist. And also, with proxy portals, you don't want to tip your hand with proxy portals. You don't want to be like, because once they see you put proxy portals, the survivors are going to know that, hey, this guy places proxy portals. He's going to put proxy portals around the point, around the dark ones, we need to check for the proxy portals. And that's very important for... You want as many units as book when you summon Evil Ash, so you can use the resurrection ability. That way, they're taking the damage and you're not. I even get really unlucky in this game, and, well, not unlucky because they have an Ed, so they have higher chances of getting legendary weapons. Pablo gets a legendary knife with a purple grenade launcher, which would be wonderful if they gave it to Ed. Because he could be destroying all my units. The reason I say Ruby would be good as well, because on book phase, she can use her Aura Blast ability, destroying all the units. The problem with that, if I have my Resurrection ability up, they're all going to come back. And I am spec'ing to that, where the duration is increased to 30 seconds. And I feel like that's needed. Even though they can kill your boss super fast. Now, Necromancer excels at the long game, the waiting game. He's all about setting up. So, if you let him start cooking, he's going to be cooking. The problem is, you know, they can mess up your meal that you're about to make. Just by destroying Flautus. It could be that easy. So, what you do is, instead of putting proxy portals around the dark ones, is you put proxy portals around where you're going to place Flautus. And you try to get enough time where... Because you'll see here that I missed the timing, and I'm not able to get 2 portals of basics on dark ones. Not that it matters, because they make the mistake of having the Ed go for the Flautus in the end game. The one that should always be going for Flautus, I mean, is Pablo. And you're saying, like, why Pablo? I mean, if you do with your strategy, Pablo's not going to work. I can't see Pablo going for the Flautist. I'm focusing with my boss, trying to go for the other people here. So he really is the perfect person to go for Flautist. Like, he's going to set off those traps. But Evil Ash is out anyways, and he's hitting book. So he's not going to be able to heal anyways. He could stand there and then use amulets, but there's so many units around that it's not important. I just give all your units to Warrior Ash. That way his shield bash is knocking back enemies from hitting book. Like, against Necromancer, you can't give him time to set up. If he sets up, you're going to have a hard time. So, if you do give him time to set up, you have to find the proxy portals that he places during book phase. Now, this may take a while. You may have to leave the dark ones at a sliver of health just to figure out what's going on and go searching for the portals. Remember, it's 60 yards. So you could, you know, mark the dark ones and walk around in that 60-yard radius until you set off some proxy portals. This is time consuming, but during the dark one phase, you have infinite time. And if you notice, once you start summoning units, you destroy the units and then you start the dark ones anyways. So really, you have, as a survivor, you have all the power on how the book phase end game goes. Like, yes, all the weapons you get are RNG, but when it comes down to, like, how you attack the dark ones, it's all up to the survivors and when. Now, I just trying to waste time here. I am threat level 11, which is perfect for the end phase. Now, normally what people do is they put the Flautus on top of the tunnel there. I don't want to do that because it's just... I thought to myself, like, yeah, they're not going to know it's there. And there's no, like, trees to, like, block it. I'm too far, really, to do damage here. But, I'm just wasting time. He has a blue blunderbuss that's pretty good. To be honest, when I'm Ed, I only like to use an explosive weapon against Necro. Like grenade launcher is way better than the explosive crossbow. And right now I'm just trying to gain levels here. I don't really like this point. I'm going to lose, and I'm trying because I'm not prestige and they're all prestige. I'm trying to make them think by doing these stupid tactics that I don't know what I'm doing. And sometimes you gotta do that. That was kind of like the mind game you could do before prestige system. Is like you could pretend like you're a dumb demon, not knowing what you're doing. And then when it came to the end phase, you just like go to town on book. So it's like all a mind game. Like lure them into a false sense of security. For prestige 1, I need wins, damage, and some other things. I don't entirely remember. Like I said, this is the first time I played on this point. I'm like, okay, there's a little tree here. I could probably place Flautus here. It's a little out in the open, but the bushes are protecting it. And I don't think they hear it. And when you're going against Necro, notice where the portals are placed. What side of the circle from middle. Because that's the direction the demon came from. And this is the power of Evil Ash, right? His attacks are slow, just as Ball. Now he's going for Flautus, but he doesn't know where it is. It's always good if you have headphones on to use surround sound, just so you can tell what direction. See how the other units are hitting it? And this is how, like, the boss... Unfortunately, yeah, you miss your first strike always when you're trying to hit a survival off a res. The boss, I don't know why that is. To be honest, I think that Arthur has fast forward. And as you see, I'm in range here, but then when I back over here, I'm out of range. So the survivor should have stayed over by the light anyways, because they would have reduced their fear anyways. And that's why you don't want to do exactly 60 yards. You want to do like at least 55, so that they have to play at the edge of the circle. I was thinking about placing Flautus again, but I'm like, okay, there's nothing I could really do here. I do want to... I'm trying to get some fear on them, so... I'm going to possess the Pablo, but... Yeah, unfortunately I didn't even do that because of how long it takes to possess the survivor after a finisher. So like I said, I'm just playing for the end game. I'm already level 21. And they're about to do the second one. Now, this is where I kind of decide, okay, I need to level up traps here. And I try to bait the Ed's ability, like tell him to like, hey, you want to disarm these traps in this building right here to the left. But unfortunately he doesn't do that. I'm going to flip the car here so they have to walk to dark ones. Dark ones are pretty close. I don't know where I'm going to teleport after this. Sometimes I'll teleport to Nobi cabin for some reason. I think that's way too far, but I think I get lucky here. So I think as a team, they're kind of doing a very good job. They just have to... They just need to work on what they need to do as roles, right? With Warlord, it's basically like, you know, everyone just do their own thing and kill things. With Necro, it's, okay, this person will be going for Flautus, this person will be focusing Boss, this one will be focusing on multiple targets. That's why the grenade launcher and the explosive crossbow is good, and that's why Scotty would be good as well. But they have the shield blast from Warrior Ash. Sometimes possessions are weird, and I get possessed in a weird angle. I'm not going for headshots here. I'm just going for straight damage. because anything I do there is just going to be me anyways from the Pablo. I think they do something smart and they actually just run into the traps instead of him using his ability. I don't want to use my infernal energy, I'm just taking my time. So that's why I dodged away and just trying to go for levels. Because I'm going to need all these levels, everything's leveled up here at the end game. I was thinking about leveling up demon powers so I can get enough fear on the Ed. And this is what you kind of have to do with Necro. So there's multiple ways to get here. There's two ways, right? There's that gate and there's the gate right here. I know that my portals are here, they're just invisible because of visible glitch. When you leave the area, it will no longer show. And I'm placing things here, and then I see him going for the Flatus. And watch, so yep, so he has to back away. But he one-shots an elite, so now I throw pressure on him. And as an Ed, you need to walk forward, don't backpedal. Because you'll see what happens when you backpedal. Right there. He goes down. So as an Ez, you just need to keep running, just run away from the possession until you go towards your survivor friends. And now I have the resurrection ability there. I'm not going to use my other ability because I could chain it to do more attacks. He knows he can't heal. The Pablo healed for him because he's probably panicking since there's so many units. Now, I don't know why Shield Blast didn't go off there. Because his shield was broken. But I guess I got lucky. So now I'm watching the health bar right there. Once it goes to plus sign, I know Pablo's going for the res. Now, this Pablo, this makes me think that they're not playing together, is that he uses his shimps whenever he can, instead of using amulets when Evil lashes out. And he also should give that grenade launcher to Ed as well. Like, the person that should be doing damage to Evil Ash is Warrior Ash. He's got a legendary chainsaw, right? So he's going to be doing a ton of damage because that's his weapon mastery and the speed of what he's going to do there. So as you see, he drinks the Shemp again while he has the debuff. He is taking hits for the Arthur, so that is smart, but like it takes a couple seconds before you can heal, and I think it's about like 2 seconds. So that's why it's always good to place that pressure. So once again, the Ed has his ability back, so I'm thinking to myself like, okay, I need to make him use his ability. So when they get to Fishing Village, they're not going to be able to use the Fishing Village, use his ability at Fishing Village to go for Flux. But he is smart and he waits to use his ability for the end game. The reason the trap goes off, so like I said, I play Ed. I try to do something that I do with balls sometimes, where I place a proxy portal. And I thought it was going to be far enough back where that's why I dodged him forward, where it was going to go off. But as you can see, it doesn't go off, so I don't trap him in that little area. I didn't have boss, so I couldn't do that either. So I try to set another portal, but I waste too much infernal energy doing that. But I do have my fear ability up. So I try and get some infernal energy to grab the Warrior Ash, and that's when I find out what he has. I'm like, oh no. This is going to be the end of me. Like, what could have been better is if he had like a legendary lumberjack axe, if he was expected to. I don't know what his build is, but just the fact that he has 20% more damage with or whatever he gets from the mastery is, and then I notice the trap's there. I'm like, oh no, if I would have set that trap and had the infernal energy, yeah, I could have trapped him in there. He's smart and drives directly there and that blocks me. If you would have like left the car there, I would have had to go all the way around, and they would have had so much time to loot fishing village. Because like as demon, every second counts. Survivors, you can take your time. So survivors are basically the ones that control the flow of the game. When it comes to necromancer, I say that with necromancer because obviously puppeteer can control the flow of the game, forcing survivors to try to go for the map piece early. Same with ball, limiting the resources. But with necro, you don't really have that power, especially if they have a Hunter Ash. Because Hunter Ash could just depossess the basic in the beginning, and basically, destroy your flow. Now, I don't like using basics when the Flatus isn't out because, I mean, to be honest, to play Demon, you have to be constantly putting pressure on there. I just saw that he dropped his gun, but I'm gonna throw him into dark ones and waste his energy. Alright, infernal energy. I mean, health, stamina. Ugh, so many things. So, now, I know he has to get a gun, so I'm just putting pressure on him. I know his gun is right next to me. I wanted to get the... I tried to get the tree, but I got him instead. This is where I see the purple grenade launcher and the knife. So I know I could do some damage on him with this knife, but I was out of stamina, so I was just swinging the knife like crazy. This is where like, oh no, I should have set up the basics here. This is a good spot, because if he does, so when he gets in the back, right, he has to jump up, and so his ability doesn't work in when he jumps in. It's like, so the way the flashlight works for Ed is that it's everything that's in front of you at ground level. Everything that's below ground level or above ground level is not going to be turned off. So he should have went in through the front door, right there. I don't know why he didn't. He had his ability and he was using it. Like, it makes sense. Like, he probably thought it was upstairs, but yeah, there's two traps. So this is where I start placing deer. And they should immediately went for flowers after they heard it. I use resurrection ability, and then start doing heavies. And then I use my other ability so I could chain the attack faster. Animation cancel. And now they're getting resurrected as well. I have 15 more seconds. And you'll see that I'm able to live here. So the grenade launcher is going up. But Pablo is the one using it, so it's not doing that much damage. Because he does less range damage and melee damage because he's a support. But every time that warrior ash hits me, he's doing a ton of damage to me. So I'm trying to hit him and book at the same time. Once again, instead of using amulets, like you should be giving the amulets to warrior ash, not using it himself. Because he would have got 2 shields for that. Yeah, he would have backed off, but he would have killed boss. Like, you saw that I just did that with boss, and they had so much, like, gear. And the Ed took so long to destroy Flautist, because when he hopped in there, not only did he set off the trap, he set off the 2 proxy cores in that location. So he couldn't move. If he was using a grenade launcher, or he could have bounced the grenade launcher into the window, hitting the unit, or the Flautist, destroying it. Now, unfortunately, I have to continue talking because of how short book phase is. So there were so many things they could have done to win that game, but they rushed it, and like I didn't place any portals. Like I didn't place anything. I just possessed things. So in their mind, they shouldn't be like, okay, he's holding on to his portals to place during book phase. Let's look for possible Flatus locations to see if there's any proxy portals, because he used proxy portals before. And this is why I kind of like Necromancer. It's because it's like you have to think on what the demon's doing. You have to think what your survivors are going to be doing, and where you think they're going to go to look for Flatus. So, yeah. Another thing, I think only Evil Ash is only viable because of his units. I was having a conversation in the last video with Ball versus Alagos. Why Alagos is so much better than Ball? It's because Ball is supposed to be used with an army, but his army AI is horrible. In Evil Ash, so he's like Evil Ash, but he has no army. And the reason why Evil Ash works is because of his army, and he supports his army. And the only thing you're there to do is just debuff the survivors, at least get one hit up, so they can't heal. And they're wasting ships, like a smart support, but not heal. They'd be using shields, so they wouldn't be giving their shields to the survivors. They would be holding on to them. Like, obviously, that's why Pablo is the best against Necro, is because he can go for Flatus, and he could apply shields, carry 8 shields, and then use it when Evil Ash is down. So he's like the best support against the Go Necro. And it is also a great support because he can go for Flatus during the 2 points. Like during book phase, he shouldn't go for Flatus, but the first 2 points, he can go for Flatus while the support stays on point. And then you could argue what kind of leader you want to run, a warrior. If you had 2 hunters, that'd be even better. 2 hunters and a warrior, have a Henry, or Mia, Scotty, and the 2 hunters would be an Ed and Hunter Ash. And you'd have Ed to go for Flatus, while Pablo is healing your damage dealers on Evil Ash, and Hunter Ash is using a double barrel against Evil Ash while Henry is getting him with a melee gun. And he's not getting the debuff because he's not getting hit using his immortality, so he's not getting knocked back. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that seemed like a really good team to go against Necro. You could argue it's one of the best, but as you can see, it's all about setup with Necro. And you can't let him cook. If he cooks, you're gonna get burned. I'm just joking. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions,
our time has come. Humankind will drown in the